This is Kevin with the Compulsive Investor. One thing I found in one of the properties that I'm doing a renovation on, somebody installed a ceiling fan to one of the original light fixture boxes that were screwed in. And I don't know if you can tell by the picture here, but it's just screwed into the one of the floor joists upstairs. So you definitely don't want to do that. I always use these on all my properties. They go up in there between the floor joists, and you tighten them up against the floor joists, and then you can support your fan on this. You don't have to worry about there being too much weight for the ceiling fan. So just a little tip for renovating properties: make sure you do things right. Hello, this is Kevin with Compulsive Investor. I wanted to do a quick demo video of this fan box that I use in all of my properties. Here it is right here, and the way this thing works, you unscrew it to the approximate space between your floor joists. And it's actually marked for 16-inch, which is nice. It has a little red mark here. I unscrew it to about that. And if you notice here, I don't know how well you can see that, but there's little spikes. Like when you tighten this up, those actually go into the floor joists, into the wood, and get a real tight grip in there. I figured I would demo this in my shed because you can see it's all opened up here, whereas in a property, you can't really see anything. So what you do is, let's just imagine this was drywall here or plaster or whatever the ceiling has on it. So first of all, I'll remove the old ceiling fixture and the box, take the box down, and first of all, of course, turn power off, and then this will push up through the hole. And you'll probably have to do it long ways like this till you get it in there, and then you rotate it till it's in between the two floor joists like this. Because of the way these little feet are, it'll sit right on top of the ceiling board, whatever that board is. Now they do have other ones too for new work or work that you can get access to, like where there's an attic that's not finished. You might be able to go up there in the attic, and instead of these splined ends, it just kind of clips over top of the floor joists up above. But most of the time you're not going to have that option. So I typically carry these with me when I do a new project, just so I have them handy. So after you unscrew it to approximately that 16-inch gap, you're going to get up into that ceiling and then set it on the ceiling like that, on the ceiling board. And then you rotate this until it starts to get tight. Once it starts to get tight, I like to go up in there and just make sure it's sitting smoothly in there and the feet are down on the board. Then you just continue to tighten it up. Now, one thing you got to be careful of course, like I said, you already turned the power off to that fixture. Especially on older houses, they have what's called knob and tube wiring. They have insulators that are attached to the floor joists and wire that connected on those insulators. So in an older house, that wiring, I don't know what you want to call it, I'm not an electrician, I only play one on the radio, but the jacket, sleeve, whatever that's called, the coating, gets really brittle. So you want to be really careful in older houses that might possibly have knob and tube. You might need to push insulation out of the way. You might need to push some wiring that's going to the light fixture, push it out of the way to make sure. You want to make sure that this hanger is not grabbing any of that wire. So the last thing you want to do is pull in earnest and go up in there like this and fiddling around for that wire. It's got a little board in it.
Well, there's my problem right there. Looks like this little wire's got a little board in it.
He can do it better. So anyway, you make sure that there's no live wires up in there. You know, you can even get this tool. I'll put a link down in the description for it that you can go up and check for power as well. If you're certain that there's no wiring or anything in the way that this is going to bump into, then you just tighten it up. I mean, this is sometimes difficult if the hole's small. You got to go in there with your hand and tighten it like this. You'll know when you're tight enough. I don't know if there's an actual science to it, but I like to hang on it just to make sure. You just pull my stuff up, just make sure to support my weight, even though it's not really rated for a 155-pound man like myself. But it is rated for a 16-inch span, 70 pounds. So you can put a 70-pound fan on there, and if you stretch it out to the 24-inch floor joists, not too many places have those, but if they do, it's only 35 pounds, 35-pound fan for that. But with these, you're guaranteed it's going to support the fan. Like in my other video that I had, somebody had attached a ceiling fan to the original, well, I don't know how old it was, but it was just a simple little fixture box, probably rated for a 5 or 10-pound light or so. It was just screwed into the side of the joist, and it's a plastic box. A terrible, terrible idea, because it doesn't get the support. The fan's moving, the fan's spinning around. It's not only just the weight of the fan, it's a lot of force as it spins around. And what was happening was that plastic box was just kind of moving, wiggling back and forth as the fan was spinning around. And then this part here clips right over top. And then you gotta, I'm not gonna open this up now, but there's 4 screws that you attach this metal box to that bracket with. Tighten it up and you got a good strong support there for that fan. I put these same things in every one of my rental properties. Tenants love ceiling fans, especially over top of a bed, in the bedroom and in the living room where you're going to be sitting and watching TV. You want to be comfortable in these hot summers. I'm sweating like a dog already here. But you want to make sure that you keep your tenants happy, and ceiling fans will do that. I also use a certain ceiling fan in all of my properties, the same one. It's a low profile. That way they also work in attics, but they work very well. They throw a lot of air down. They also pull it up in the wintertime and circulate it around. When you flip that little switch toward push it up, pulls the air up, push that switch down, it blows the air down. But these fans have a large base on them. I don't have one here, but something like this. And this part actually goes all the way up to the ceiling. What I like about that is sometimes you have damage around that light fixture, and the fans that have down rods, they only have a little small hub, whatever that's called, up against the ceiling, and if you do have any damage to the ceiling board or the plaster, it's going to show. But the fans I use have a wide base. It's actually about that wide. It goes right up against it, and then it covers any of that damage. There's 2 more products I use. These are actually easier to use. If the light fixture is centered right there on a joist, this box here just slides right up over there, and they take the 2 screws, screw them right into there. Bam, done. So that's actually a very quick way to put a fan up. These ones require a little bit more time. But then there's also this option. That's the same one. Okay, I don't have the other one I was going to show you, but it's a flat metal pan that just screws right up against there like that. That's the same effect. That's what you're going to have, except it's a metal part that screws into there, and it doesn't have these, doesn't go up over the studs like that. That's it for this episode of The Compulsive Investor. I hope you got something from this video. If you have, please hit that like button. That helps me tremendously. It helps my videos get out to more people. And subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. I do walkthroughs of properties that I'm looking into purchasing. I do walkthroughs of my own properties when I do rehabs. I talk about my business systems, standard operating procedures, SOPs, that I use to make sure that I do the same thing over and over again with each process, so I don't mess up, I don't forget anything. And I've actually recently been looking into a new kind of system, a way to store my system. For years I've done it with just Word documents and Excel spreadsheets, and those work fine. They're fantastic, but they do get to be cumbersome, and they can be a mess eventually if you have too many of them. So I started looking into an app called ClickUp. It's a process checklist type app, and I've been fascinated by it. I've been moving my business system over to ClickUp, and in the near future I'm going to be doing some videos showing my my processes for my systems as I put it into ClickUp, how I go from status to status until a project is done. I'm going to spend a lot of time on explaining how that system operates. So stay tuned for those videos. 55. 6.